November. And the significance of this is, amongst other things, the fact that we're coming up towards a good time to sell stuff. January is often a good time to sell stuff. I've got canola, best price December. I've got soybeans, best time July. Let's scrap that thought. I've got corn, best type January, and I'm about to have a load more corn. So that's very promising. I've got some potatoes, which I've got to feed the pigs with, so I'm not going to touch those. What else do I have in store? I've got straw, which I'm going to hang on to. I don't want to sell it because it's not worth very much. I've got lots of diesel, which is good. And I think that's pretty much me. I've got some slurry. Always like a bit of slurry. Put it on the fields. Good for the crops. I've got protein for animals. Got lots of that. It's worth quite a lot of money, but I'm going to hang on to what I've got for the time being to feed the piggy wiggies. But I'm not going to overlook the fact that it's worth. Just go back just to see how much it's worth. Was it 1,700? Oh dear, all this upping and downing. It's very upsetting. Oh no. Yeah, 1,400. Okay. Whiz down. Nothing down here. Go all the way back up to the top. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. But the point is that when I have harvested this corn, it will be very close to it being ready to sell. The wheat's best price is in January. I think it's unlikely. It's not impossible, but I think it's unlikely that my wheat will be ready. Will be ready in January to harvest. Are we 2 growth stages away? That's where we are. That 44. That looks to me 44 like 24. These look like they're about to turn orange, which means ready to harvest. This to me looks like it's quite a long way away. It's got to go to that colour. Who knows? Maybe. But that is all by the by, because for now, let's just check on the animals. They've got some protein, they've got some food, they've got some water. They are all 100% healthy, which is great. The production of protein for them has ground to a halt because they've run out of barley, but that is fine by me. In fact, I'm going to deactivate it. There's 4,000 litres of protein for animals in there, which is more than enough. What I need to focus on now is harvesting this crop. Now this field here is quite a big field, but there's no point going nuts and buying an absolutely massive combine harvester. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense at all. And we also need to think about the size of the trailer that I've got. So the trailer I have is this one, which holds 37 litres. So if we were to get a 12 cubic metres, 37 litres, 37,000 litres or 37 cubic metres. If we were to get a 12 cubic metre combine harvester, it would take 3 loads. That's a pretty good system. Let's have a little look and see what we've got on the combine front. I'd like it to do a decent turn of speed, so I wanted to do 24, like this John Deere does. This John Deere does 10,000 litres, so we want something a little bit bigger than 10,000 litres. This class does 12,000 litres, which would be perfect. It does harvest corn. It's quite expensive. I'm just going to whiz to the end and see if I've got some old cheapy combines. What about this fella? Does 10,000 litres. It's only 142,000. That's a possibility. This does 12,500 litres. 18 miles an hour. Let's have a little whiz. That's 18 miles an hour. 18. I do like stuff by class. 15. 24. it's quite pricey. It's huge, isn't it? S7 whatever. They are vast. Here's one that does 11,000 litres. 196,000 litres, a bit slow as well. These are funny ones that just take, this one takes very, very large volumes. They're quite small. I think, can we remember which one it was that I liked? That did 12,000 litres. Is this the one I wanted? 12,000 litres and goes at 18 mph. What about this one? Oh, it's expensive, isn't it? Because I'm going to lease it. The lease is obviously relative to the sale price. So I do want one that's not going to be very much, because although I've got 198,000, I don't want to spend a huge amount. Which is the first one that goes at 24. That one goes at 24. It's quite expensive. What is it to lease? So we're going to have a little. Currently, it holds 10,600, and it would cost 14,000 to lease. Can we increase the tank enough to get up to 12? That gets to 14 and would cost 15,000 to lease. We can go with the standard setup. Wheel brand is fine. One thing we might like is a slightly longer pipe, just so we've got a little bit of room for manoeuvre. How much is that? Still 15,500. I think that looks like quite a nice combine. Now that is a 7 series, S700. So we're going to want a decent size header, but nothing absolutely nuts, because we want to be under control. So that's what it costs to hire. Then we need to get a header, and we need a corn header. Now normally what I will do is I will get the big Capella corn header, which is 9 meters, and it folds. And I was going to say I'd get it. That one's 12 meters. Does it fold? I expect it does. C16F. I have no idea if that is compatible with. I know that the Capella one is compatible with everything. Shall we try this John Deere and see what happens? Let's lease it for £6,000. That's a big old header. And we just have a little look. Let's see whether it will hook up to this header. Whether, when it's extended, it does seem to want to connect, which is very promising. So I've spent about 20 some odd thousand hiring this, but I'm very much hoping I will make that back on the sale of the corn, and I'll be able to sell the corn in a couple of months' time. So it should turn out to be a good decision. It's not going to take very long to harvest this, so I won't get out of the way. So, it won't take a huge amount of time to harvest these two fields. Shall I do the little one first? Do the first one I come to first, I guess. unfold the header. Let's lower the header and let's back up and remove these flipping posts. Oh no, actually they don't even cause a problem. Now then, we need to check, because it's a big header, and I did buy a bigger pipe, but we've got to check that there's actually room. Oh, it's going to be quite tight, isn't it? But we'll be alright. I did buy a bigger pipe because I knew sometimes it can be quite hard. Here we go. Just whiz down here. We'll whiz down here a couple of times, and we'll whiz down the length of the field. You'll notice there's no straw being produced because that's the nature of this crop. All the bits are chopped up into tiny pieces. But we are collecting lots of grain, which is excellent. A little bit tight here. Let's just back up. Let's not miss. Just worried I'm going to miss a little bit. So let's come back and start again. That final row is being nipped off. Don't want to leave anything behind. And this funky surface here, I'm going to mulch it, which means I'm going to whiz over it with a roller with fast spinning blades, and it will smash it all up and reduce it into sort of organic brash, which will add nutrients to the soil when I plough it in. I'm a big fan of ploughing. Decent overlap. Bomb down to the end. Only 30% full. So it's not going to be a huge yield from this crop. You can see bottom left hand corner what the yield is like. The shade of green tells you how good the yield is. So I've had a little chunk of 120%. But I'm now down to a sort of modest 100% yield. But next time round we'll get a better yield because I'll have mulched and ploughed, all sorts of other nonsense like that. There she blows. I'm going to do two strips here. Down to the engine back. And then I shall put her on auto. It is a tutty little field for such a big device. That feels a bit more serious. But I'll treat it in the same way. Yield here not great, frankly. It's a little disappointing. A little bit tight here with the barn. Oop. Yield's good here. There may be a soil reason why the yield in this corner of the field is not so strong. Could be a soil type thing. Nothing you can really do about soil type. You can improve the soil by adding lime, by adding fertiliser. You can't really change the soil type. you would change your sowing rate and your fertiliser application depending on the soil type. There's no point putting on more fertiliser and imagining that will make a difference if the soil is fundamentally not the right kind of soil. Now then, I'm going to grab the tractor and the trailer because eventually the combine is going to be full. She's 80% full and she's going to want emptying. And I should be able to empty her maybe 3 times, two and almost 3 times. She is going to have the spout on the correct side. I'm going to set cruise control to 6 miles an hour. And then I'm going to try and get into position. She'll pop her spout out and I'll try and get as much grain out of her this time down the field as I can possibly manage. Don't know why she's being funny. There we go. That's very odd. What is her problem? Oh, she is having problems, isn't she? That's come out. I want to get underneath. Does she not like this trailer or something? She doesn't like that trailer, does she? What is that all about? I have never experienced this before. Out she comes. But as soon as she's presented with a trailer, she goes in. Oh dear. Well, I think that might mean we say goodbye to this trailer, which is a bit of a shame because I kept her from the base game because I thought she was pretty hot. I'm going to tip my 20 litres of corn. And I'm going to see what money I can get for this trailer and then buy a new trailer. This trailer is 36 meters cubed. So I'll try and get something that's similar. There's a couple of types of trailer that I'm very fond of. There's a Flegel, I think, which I like. So if there's a Flegel of a suitable size available, get that, and we will come back and see what's going on. It's only 20 past 8 in the morning, so let's hope nothing too serious is going on. Might not be the trailer, might be some other problem. I know you have right of way. My desperate desire to not run people over caused me to plough into that barrier. I'm going to try and claim some sort of moral victory for that appalling piece of driving. Let's dump the trailer in here. Gosh, if only connecting and disconnecting trailers in the real world was as sweet as that. That would be a lovely thing. Right, let's repair it. Let's repaint it. Then I'm going to get £41,000 for it, which is alright. Let's run along to the showroom and see what they've got available in the trailer department. So, I love a class trailer, a bit small. The ones I like are these Flegel trailers. That's 30,000. That's 30,000 litres. That's the one I just had. That's a Flegel as well. It's 40,000 litres. They're both quite expensive. We'll just nip along to the end and see if there's anything. These are, by way of being sort of specialist trailers. Here's another Flegel. the Beat Ninja. Oh, that's got choppers at the back. This is a lovely Flegel, 45,000 litres, and it's £65,000. It's a possibility. This is 22. That is 23.5. Decisions. There's a nice chrome trailer. There's a lizard. These are silly ones that just hold huge amounts. I could go with this TARDIS, which holds 30,000 litres. So I'm not taking full. This one holds up to 200,000, which is ridiculous. But this one's okay. And the extension is on. Standard is 20. Let's go 30. Main colour could be JCB, couldn't it? The design colour could be Onyx Black. And what colour? God, I can't believe I'm going to do this. But what colour are the wheels of a JCB? Oh, they are JCB yellow. Okay, so let's make sure that our trailer here, all the way to the end, is all matching. Wheel setup is standard. Main colour is JCB. Design colour is Onyx Black. Wheeled rims are JCB. There we go. And that is £19,000. So I actually make a little bit of a profit, assuming that with its very considerable height, that I'm actually able to get underneath the combine. That's a genuine concern. That is quite a high trailer, and if it's too high, I can't get underneath the spout of the combine. But it's a big combine, so it should be all right. £195,000 in the bank. Got a new trailer, smaller, I think. Yeah, it's 30,000 litres, which is smaller than the previous trailer, but half the price. And crucially, if it allows me to actually tip corn into it, then it's got to be good value for money. And also, it's modifiable to make it smaller. So for jobs around the farm when you need a smaller trailer, you can take the high sides off. And Bob is, as it were, avuncularly connected. Now then, are we going to fire out a thingy? We are. Are we then going to tip some corn? We are going to tip some corn. So all of that faffing around was worthwhile, which is a nice thing to know. Whilst we're cutting the next field, I will mulch this field, and I will just check what size device you need. 160 horsepower to pull that, so we don't need a very big tractor, and I might lease a big tractor in order to mulch the this field. A 160 horsepower tractor. Let's go to medium tractors. So like a Fendt Vario, standard Fendt Vario. There we go. 246. I don't need Isario Pro Compact. It means I don't need to be measuring every piece of detail about the ground, because all I'm using it for is mulching, and it will cost £10,000 to lease, and I'll be able to mulch both fields with it. So that will probably be a good thing. I think I leased my seeder as well, didn't I? So turn this off. We'll save a bit of fuel. I don't want Caleb to get grumpy with me. Um, it's all full. There's no room for manoeuvres here. I might go and pick up the remainder of the protein feed and tip it all into my storage unit, because I don't think I need this machine to be running again for a while, because we have generated lots. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. Is it already empty? I already emptied it. Oh, we've got... Oh, is it because it's not activated? Oh, I just didn't ask it to start filling, that's all. Okay. Simple mistake. You have to ask it to do stuff. It's not like standing underneath the combine. Just check what the... You might tip the hole back in it. There we go. I mean, that's almost the most valuable crop that I own. I could make quite a lot of money just selling it. But I won't do that just yet. I shall pop these two items away. Started yawning, it's not a good sign. I have set an alarm so that I don't fall asleep. I mean, I might fall asleep, but I don't want to do what I did the other day, which is to fall asleep and stream myself sleeping for 2.5 hours. This, I'm no good at reversing, so we'll put it away in here. I do like things to be put away. There we go, that's nice. So this is going to very comfortably finish off this field. Before it's full. So we might have a little look at what we can get 160 horsepower wise. So that is not an expensive tractor. The Massey Ferguson 3670. It's a favourite. What else have we got at the cheaper end of the market? What's the 3670's 97,000. We'll take a bit of beating to get 97,000. It's a nice John Deere. Does 24. This does 24 miles per hour. Just whizzing along. They generally get more expensive before they become cheaper. Oh, that's lovely. A Zeta. 150 horsepower. So I could do it with a Zeta Crystal. Gosh, we had one of these, not as big as this, in 1974. We had a Zeta, not a Zeta Crystal, but oh my word, just loved it. Great machine. This Fiat, which I ought to think about using a Fiat, because I am in France. And if I put, you see, that's 102,000. Well, JCB's expensive. JCB's expensive. Expensive. Ooh, not expensive. Probably will be by the time I boof it up to 185 horsepower. Expensive. So I am tempted to go with this. It's between this Massey Ferguson here Yeah, I think this is the fella. It's got enough grunt, it's 170 horsepower, no modifications necessary. We'll go with the standard wheel setup. Could go for wide tyres, which is always nice, but it adds £2,000 to the price. Don't need any fancy kit fitted. I'm leasing it. £5,000. Do it. Good. Now then, we've done that field, and we are 89% full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up this side of this field, because there's a likelihood that I'll have filled up before I get to the end, and then I want the spout to be on the delivery side, because that makes sense. I worry that I've started a little bit tight there. So this is basic workhorse of a tractor, but it is 170 horsepower, which means it's got enough grunt to pull the mulcher, and I can mulch this field and the next field with it. And oh look, there we go, it has a full grain tank, just like I said it might. I will just quickly wisp across this field and go and attach the mulcher, which will need altering at the workshop, because currently it's got a field roller on it, and it needs to have a mulcher on it, which is just a case of changing the rollers, and the mulcher is an active thing, so it uses the hydraulics, whereas the field roller is passive. Big question is whether I give it a change of livery as well. You could give it a little, I could make it Massey Ferguson colours. Oh, you see, I hate myself that I want to do that, but I do want to do that. Let us repair it for £3. Let's customise it. So I want it to be a mulching roller. And how much would it cost to make it Massey Ferguson colours? £500. Oh well, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. That's quite exciting, isn't it? Have it all matching like that. More importantly, the combine, which I'm paying for by the hour, is sitting doing nothing in the other field. So I'm going to drive out to this tractor, and I'm going to switch drivers. And I'm going to nip up here and collect some grain. This field will take a little while to do, but it should be very rewarding. This is going to be another 40, so this is going to almost fill me up. What I'm going to have a little think about is, possibly what I'll do is I'll wait till it's going back up the row, or I'll cut the end off and I'll see if I can fill the trailer up absolutely to the brim. It'll be pretty close by the end of this. It will be pretty close. Pretty close. Come on. Quite finished, and we are done. And it's so close, isn't it? What I might do is follow the combine down the other end of the field just to get it up to 100%. I'm not sure if that's worth doing. Look at the fuel that you spend counteracts that. The pleasure of getting the job done thoroughly. So we're going to whiz up, sitting here. Can't see much, can you, really, in a field? You can see the grain filling up the tank behind me. None of the internal computers are animated. I guess that's asking a little bit much. It would kind of be fun if they were reflecting what's going on outside, maybe giving you information about the yield. It's all information that the computer knows, so it's not information that is unknown. Nip down here. See if I can fill up to 100%. And engage cruise control in an attempt to match my speed. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? It suddenly decided it doesn't want to fill me up, even though my trailer is not full. It's having the same issues it was having earlier. Maybe it isn't. Set cruise control. So I'm hopefully travelling at the same speed. Right, I am now full. So I can accelerate away. Combine runs at 6 miles per hour, so I set my cruise control to 6 miles per hour. Good gear changes. Tip side is the back. Go over here. It should tip fairly easily, very nice. I suspect the combine is happy for a moment or two, except that we are coming back. I will stay with it, I think. I may just start to organise this, but I mustn't stay here because I don't want the combine to go back for a third width of the field. I want to start setting it up doing lengths, but we can do two top ends. Should hammer along at a good old lick. Okay. Struggling a little bit. It's getting there. Okay, so we'll pretend that it's not driving in the crop. We'll whip around. And we'll go down to the far end. And then we'll do a couple of strips at the far end, and then we will set the worker to go. Here she goes. Bosh bosh. So she is struggling a touch. Blades whizzing around, grinding, churning up those stalk ends, thoroughly mulching it. When she gets to the end of the field, I'm going to turn around and do a length. Then I shall do 2 widths at the other end. Right, I've hung off the edge a bit here, which is a shame. But off she goes. Here's the combine. Pretty close to being full. Now before I start to do this end, I'm going to empty, even though I won't be completely full, because otherwise I'd have to drive on the crop in order to finish. So what I will do is I will go all the way down to the end like that, which is pretty close to being done. And then I will position myself somewhere like that. Well done, the Massey Ferguson. Let me quickly whiz around. Line myself up with the top end of this field. I'm going to do 2 widths, and then she can run lengths. I mean, this field is going to be done so quickly, but you know, might as well do it neatly. That's all empty. I shall whip along here, fill up, partially fill up. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Pushing the old hat starting to pinch. Such a small field. Turn around and line myself up. Very nice. Lovely stuff. I'm just going to do the widths. Now then, this is where we just leave it to run. So I've done 2 strips at the end, and I just need to work out where things fit. About here, something like about that, and then she should be happy. We can get out of the way. Let's knock that signpost over. It's important. And Bosh, off she goes. Oh, I can have a little stretch. Because I don't need to. Don't need to do much for a moment. Bliss. In theory, if I press this button, it'll say thank you in the message section. It does. I have to say, this Stream Deck thing is rather clever. That was a thank you to whoever's watching. But there's probably nobody watching. Is there a way of me knowing if anyone's watching? It probably is. I think I can have things on my phone that tell me what's going on. But I haven't done that. I notice lots of other people have the microphone in very close. Mine is not very close. I've got a nice microphone, but it's just sitting on the desk. And I could have one on a stand that was in my face, but I kind of think that it's nice to have a little bit of room. The other thing to do would be to have a microphone headset, so that the microphone was part of my headphones, and that would then be right up in my face. I don't know if I want that. I just want to have a nice relaxed time playing. I'm not worried too much about things. You can always turn the sensitivity of the microphone up a touch if that is needed, but I think it's working alright. It seems to be working alright. I just noticed that it's not nearly as loud as some other streamers. This is only my seventh episode. So, you know, what do you expect? Should we have a quick check on how the mulching is going? Mulching is going well. Field nearly done. I can't start mulching the next field until it is finished, because if I mulch the crop will be destroyed. And that would be, you know, in the list of various things that go horribly wrong, it would be right up there. It does suddenly make me think, do you know what? I'm just going to save. I'm just going to save. So dull, so conservative. 54% full. Now then, I wonder. I don't think it's going to get up there and down again before filling up. So I think I might have a problem filling the trailer. I think I might have a problem filling the trailer. Oh, there's a lady driving the trailer, the tractor, that's nice. Stones? Stones. Lots of stones. I wonder if I remove the stones, whether they will stay removed. The stones don't seem to be doing damage to the vehicle in the way that they would if field stones were enabled. But it's annoying having disabled field stones if there are loads of field stones. In my opinion, there shouldn't be no stones if I've said no stones. This piece of kit will get damaged by stones. It seems to be coping around. That is... Now, I think, I'm just going to leave it to turn around of its own accord here. I think that it is going to be full before it gets to the end. And that means I'm going to have to come out of the crop in order to tip. Because although I play incredibly unrealistic, I think I will try and avoid just sort of driving through the middle of the crop for no reason. Driving on it accidentally is one thing, deliberately driving on it just because I can't be bothered. It just seems unacceptable. So when she's full, cool. What a heck of a machine to be in. It's the buddy seat. Oh, I would have been so happy as a boy. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go absolutely crazy. I'm going to drive all the way over to where that trailer is and tip, because it's probably less hassle. Oh well, unless I can't get round the side without hitting a tree, in which case that is not good value for money. Hitting a tree with a £125,000 header is probably not a good idea. Right, let's fill that up. Then I'll go back and do the last little bit, and then on the way up I will top the trailer off and go and dump it. Meanwhile, this is all finished, so we can fold up the old lovely little clinking mechanical noises. Oh, it's bliss. So, we're all done, which is great. Let's do the last little bit, and then we'll pick up on the way up. And that will fill off the last 2% of the trailer, whatever it is that's left. It's a tiny amount. So, yeah, 7%. So it's worth it. %100% full, and whip down here, and thumpity thump, pop this into storage. Nice fast emptying trailer, that's what we like. Do you know, I mean, this is pretty much where we are. We are upping and downing bombing and sliding. We're not even an hour into the day. We've done a field and a half. This is the joy of this modern equipment, and of the fact that I play at real time. When most people would sort of run at 15 times, maybe 5 to 15 times speed, just to get a sense of how much you actually achieve in a day. Because a day is a month. So I like there to be no confusion, no ambiguity. And when this is a big, big farm, and I've got 6 or 7 fields to harvest at any given moment, I will need the available time. And also, I try to get... Oh, that is the duck of eternal justice quacking that I started that going an hour ago, but then it took me a few minutes to get going. I've only been streaming for 56 minutes, but it is now 10 o'clock at night out here in France, in beautiful French France. Well, it's been a lovely day this afternoon. A bit overcast this morning, but nice this afternoon. What was I saying before the duck quacked? Oh yes, I like to try and get all the fields dealt with before the change of the month. So I will try to get them mulched, ploughed, sown, rolled and fertilised before we go to December. Which I can do because I'm travelling, I'm running at real time. It's tricky and it's expensive because I'm going to be eating in, look, £1,000 in wages have just gone. I've only got £187,000 left in the bank, but I have got a valuable crop, and when I sell that, which I will be able to do, I will be able to sell my maize in January, which is only 2 months' time. I will sell it for 1,000, so it'll probably be, I will probably get £300,000, something like that for it. Which will make a big old difference. Bit of an overlap now then. The question is whether I will make it to the end before I need to fill up. It doesn't matter because the tractor's right there. I think I might. I think I might turn at the end, come back before I'm full. Which would be quite exciting. And then I might then follow the combine all the way down to the end of the row, which is a thing I quite like to do. When I was a boy, I really was a boy, sort of 17, and I was chasing the combine, tiny combine compared with this, a valuable 4-ton trailer. Yeah, it was a nervy process. Oh, look, that's really disappointing. It's not really disappointing. It's almost completely unimportant. I am just going to whip out and top up the trailer. I have seen a few setups out here in France where I reckon the same guy was doing the trailers as was doing the combine, and he parked the trailer in the corner of the field and whizzed out to it. He probably, I bet they went out in a little convoy with a car, combine and the tractor, so 3 of them driving out there. and 2 of them driving back in the car and just leaving the combine and the trailer. Because some of these trailers are so massive, sort of 20-ton trailers that we see on the roads. You just think, well, it'll take you a couple of goes to fill that up. Then you can pop it home, tip it, come back, carry on with the combine. You're still going to get the field done in unbelievably short amount of time. Bibbidi bibbidi bim 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 biddy bim. There we go. Fishing. Red Tractor is not doing anything. I suppose Red Tractor could be doing something. I could do one strip of mulch in this direction, and then I could set her up running to and fro. Will I get through these trees? That's the big question. It's quite a big question, but I think the answer is a comfortable yes. I just need to be careful at this point because I don't want to go dozing off. Right, that is running, so that's great. It's not the tidiest bit of alignment I've done, but it'll do. One thing I would love an answer to, if anybody knows, is why is it that sometimes my engine stops after I've switch to another vehicle, and sometimes the engine doesn't stop when I switch to another vehicle, when I swap to another vehicle. That's the big question. Okay. So I want to be very careful that I don't accidentally mulch any of my crop. So I'm going to watch this whole process meticulously. So I'm choosing a don't mulch, don't hit the crop. It then does give me a little bit of room. Just give me a little bit of room to turn. Let's give that a little bit of room to turn. I'm going to put soybeans in because I think that soybeans they have their best date in July, and they might be ripe by July. I might have harvested them by July. There's a reasonable chance. Right, I'm now going to go up to field. There's masses of space this side, so there shouldn't be any difficulties. No tree to bump into, so it should go right up to the edge, which it very nearly does. And go up this side of the field. There we go. Leave her running. Be interesting to see how effectively she does this, or whether she turns around at the top end satisfactorily. Right, I'm going to, I don't know what the, she's 75% full, but I'm just going to follow her up the field, just as something to do. It's always a little bit of tricky driving when you're doing it for real, because you want to match your speed so that you fill up first of all one part of the trailer and then another part of the trailer, so you sort of fill it up evenly. That's kind of the nominally that's the plan. It's a little bit easier to do in farm sim than it is in real life. But nowadays, of course, modern machines have all kinds of clever electronics that help you out, which makes it a bit more like Farm Simulator than it used to be. I am going to knock off that remaining 5% the moment the combine gets back down this way and tip this. But I will fill it up. I'll fill it all the way. I'm just going to have a little look, see what's what. We know it needs a plough. That's done that very neatly, but I don't think it's going to be able to do it all the way down, so I'm going to go and mulch further down. There's quite a delay between what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, but I don't think that comes across in the actual stream. I think you're getting everything live as it happens, but I'm getting a bit of delay. So I'm moving forward now. We should change the tone. I've not heard it yet. Yeah, I've got a multi-second delay. I could probably do something about that. I'm not sure what it matters. Tiny amount added just to take it up to 100%. And I should peel away, go and pop this in the bin, storage bin, that is, not in the rubbish bin, in the silo. I always think of a silo as somewhere that stores silage, so I have difficulty calling anything else a silo. I am going to do a width of the field, and I'm going to try not to mulch any of the standing crop. What I might do to avoid mulching the standing crop is deliberately kind of get inside it. So I'm going to overlap by the width of one roller, line up that little joint. That's going to mean that the bit that I now mulch is narrow, which means if I lose my concentration and she turns around at the end and comes back, with any luck she shouldn't take out any crop. There's no guarantee of that, but she shouldn't. The width of this mulcher and the width of the header, they are roughly the same, I believe. Here we go. I think the combine is going to stop about 2/3 of the way, maybe half the way up the next route, and its spout will be on the outside, and I can just whip up with the trailer effortlessly. Let's whip this little bit off. Then I shall start the relentless ups and downs. Mulching is a relatively new concept in Flight Simulator. But, it makes a lot of sense. These maize stalks are very wooden, and it just helps them to break down. Bacteria and worms and things in the soil will break them down and release nitrogen, which of course plants use to make amino acids. And then those amino acids are put together to make proteins. And the genes within the plants are the code that tell the plant what order to put the amino acids in. That's, if you ever get asked what is a gene, you can say, with some authority, you can say, it is the code to form a single protein from its constituent amino acids. Humans have about, I don't know, is it 24,000 genes? Not very many. You think about how complex we are. But the way they interact with each other produces us. And of course, lots of living things, all living things, share certain activities. So respiration is common to aerobic respiration, is common to pretty much all living things. So you'll find the genes for producing the important proteins in respiration in almost all genomes, which is why we say that we are, let's say 95%, it's quite controversial, but 95% similar DNA-wise to a chimpanzee, and about, whatever it is, 45% similar to a banana. It depends how you define things. It's not that it isn't true, it's just that it's an oversimplification. So that's the point of this. The game also encourages you to plough when you have planted maize and root crops like turnips. I tend to plough all the time anyway, because ploughing in the game, not in the real world, but ploughing removes the possibility of there being any weeds. And so that removes a phase of the game. I don't, I eventually I will have seeders that cultivate at the same time. And if I'm cultivating, I don't need to plough. But if I'm only cultivating, then I need to use weed killer or a weeder to remove weeds. Whereas if I'm ploughing, that is job done. You get the benefit of having ploughed. You get a slight. It's environmentally detrimental because it's disturbing the soil too much. But in terms of yield, it's definitely beneficial. I've noticed out here in France that farmers do a lot of disc harrowing and that sort of thing, and that ploughing is fairly rare. It only really happens where the soil absolutely demands it. Whereas where I live in Wiltshire, we plough the fields every year. We put muck on them in alternate years, so they get muck on them every other year. They get chemical fertilizer, but they get muck every other year, and then as soon as that's spread, it is then ploughed in. Because I'm going to grow soybeans, which add nitrogen to the soil rather than leach nitrogen from the soil. I am not going to bother with any fertiliser because it would be pointless. The soybeans they have nodules on their roots which harbour bacteria, and they add their own nitrogen. These are bacteria that can actually take nitrogen out of the air. There's about 78% nitrogen, as you know, and they can turn it into nitrate directly into the soil. So if you plant soybeans, you don't need to put nitrogen in this game. I'm not saying that that's the case in the real world, but certainly in the game, no need to fertilise it if you're planting soybeans. And again, so that's just one thing less to worry about. How are we doing on the mulching? Mulching is going well, and we can see the fields. So this is been mulched, needs ploughing. If I remove needs ploughing, they show up as having been mulched, which is nice. It'll be, I don't think they're quite going to make it, are we? I wonder whether if I just nip off a little bit of grain here, whether she will then make it back. There's a chance, isn't there? If I whip out this little bit of grain, comme ça. Ooh, a little bit tight. She's just going to empty herself completely. And I think she will end up at this end. Whether we can get this whole of this last chunk in or not, I don't know. Just possibly. We might do. Cool. That's a bit tight, isn't it? That is quite tight. Gauge done. Work done. We like it all. Yeah, this is going to be good. Then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip this straight into the storage bin, not into the tractor, not to the trailer. And then send this combine back because I don't need her anymore and I'm leasing her. So we're going to fold that up. And I am going to swing over this. She just accelerates her engine when she turns that auger on. I referred earlier to having bought 2 augers, and what I should have said is that I bought 1 conveyor belt and 1 auger. But you know, it's a small detail. That to me feels like job done. And if I go here to vehicles that are rented, I can repatriate those devices. That is not Japanese, not really good. Splendid. What have we got in here? We have got 102,000 litres. And if I get that'll probably get me 150,000, won't it? What's the price of corn? Price of corn will be 1.5. So I'll get 150,000 for it. Oh, I often play this on easy, and so the economics work out a little bit better, but never mind. I've got this to add. It's only 27,000 litres. Anyway, it's better than note. So I've done this, I'm going to plough. Not going to add any slurry or fertiliser because I'm going to grow soybeans. I'm going to grow 2 fields of soybeans because I think that soybeans best price is in July and we're currently in November, and so we should have harvested them in plenty of time to sell them in July. Just when we need some money, we'll get some. Right, I'm going to pop this trailer away. I'm going to pop to the plough. I'm going to change the plough so that it is in JCP livery, which doesn't make any sense at all, but that's what I'm going to do. Now then, the plough is currently the wrong way round because I was using a small tractor to pull it last time. And if you put the fins the wrong way round, then pretty much anything can pull it. But I'm going to do 2 things. One is I'm going to make it JCB colours. The other is that I'm going to attach it the right way around to me. Which is, I recognise, a complete waste of money. But, you know, it's a game. It's only a game. It's only a model. Let's do a little repair, a little customise. 9 metres is good. JCB, very nice. 500 quid. Oh, what a phenomenal waste of money. But people will see me in the fields and they'll go, there is a man who cares about all the very unimportant things. So I have mulch, and now I'm going to plough. There is an argument that says if you're going to plough, there's no point mulching. But I thought I would do everything because I want to get 125% yield where possible in my soybeans, because soybeans are very profitable. We could be talking, you know, the yield is low, but we could be talking £200,000, £250,000 come July, which would be nice. So it would get to the point where I might even start buying a few of my own bits and pieces. That is going strong. That's a bit tricky. So let's whip down this way. those crows. Now then, because I set cruise control earlier to 6, it's doing a maximum 6 miles an hour now. So I'm going to reset cruise control back up to 45, and then it'll run through at its rather more jaunty sort of 9 or 10 miles per hour, which is not a bad effort for. I mean, this is not a plough; it's a subsoiler, but it's creating in the game the effect of ploughing. And a plough that's 9 metres wide is a massive plough requiring an absolutely vast tractor. And the fact that I'm whizzing through this with a undeniably huge tractor, but not one of those sort of great prairie busting kind of big bud type tractors that might otherwise be the flavour of the scene. Let's see how we're doing. We're still going strong. And according to this, it's all looking very smart. I'm going to turn needs ploughing back on because suddenly it's irrelevant. Right, let's start going up and down. And one of the things that happens is that it skips bits out, but we can go around at the end and we can tidy up any bits that it skips. When it turns around at the end, it sometimes leaves a little piece. I'm going to save. I don't think I'm going to make it. Hour and 27 minutes. I don't think I'm going to make it. Must be. Yeah, it's 10:30. It's way gone my bedtime. Well, we might have a day tomorrow of streaming pretty relentlessly because I've got food in the house, so I don't need to go anywhere. I don't have fresh milk, so I might go to the village shop first thing in the morning. Oh, exciting. But otherwise, I can be just here playing Farming Simulator all day. If the weather's nice, I'll do some laundry. If the weather's not nice, I can't do laundry. Can't be expected to do laundry if the weather is not nice. I don't quite know why I've suddenly decided to go this way, but I have. Just to sort of take ownership of things, really. Brush. There we go, get outside edge. Lovely. So this is happy. This is happy. Are the cattle happy? Cattle are happy. I'm inclined to say good night at this point. That's what I'm inclined to say, because it is, you know, it's getting late. I can finish this off in the morning. And that would be great, won't it? All I've got to do is press this button like a dude. Goodbye. You can press it for long enough, that's pretty cool.